When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. The Buddha said that, and I love that saying. It just sounds nice. And do you know what else sounds nice? The Huawei Sound Joy. It is an indoor and outdoor Bluetooth speaker that's poised to take on the likes of the UE Boom, the JBL Flips, the Bose Sound Links, and the Sony SRS ABC 123 extra bass speakers. That wasn't the correct name for the speaker, but you know what I'm talking about. And that's just to name a few of its rivals. And those are all good speakers. But could Huawei's offering be better? Well, Huawei have done a few things here that I think you'll find interesting. All shall become clear, but first, your mind must be pure. Only joking, let's get into it. So Huawei aren't really known to be audio specialists, so they've only gone and done what any multi-billion-dollar corporation would do. They've spent a ton of R&D money and enlisted the help of acoustical engineering company Devialet, who are a high-end French luxury audio brand famous for their Phantom speakers. And if you've never heard of these speakers and you know nothing about those speakers, I made a really interesting video that did pretty well with the algorithm. I'll link it at the end on the end screen. It really is a French revolutionary bit of kit. And this is probably one of the most affordable speakers that Devialet has ever worked on. And stick around because I will do a little sound test for you guys between this and my Sonos Roam. And of course, I'll also tell you my honest opinion on the sound quality. So the styling of the Sound Joy is going to be very familiar to anyone who's owned a UE Boom speaker before or a JBL speaker. But dare I say, the Huawei Sound Joy has a little bit more of a high-end look to it. And allow me to explain. The finish on the passive radiators at either side have a really nice radial pattern to them, reminiscent of an old vinyl record. And when the light hits them just so, you get this kind of nice mesmerizing look to them, which is further enhanced when playing bassy music. And it really is a joy just to sit and watch it playing sometimes. And just like the Ultimate Ear speakers, you won't have to ask anybody where the volume controls are because the buttons are so big, an astronaut on the International Space Station could probably spot them for you. And just like the Sony SRS extra bass speakers, it has Rgb lighting, which has been implemented in its own special way. But just like the Sony speakers, the lights can sync up to your audio, but only on Android devices that have Huawei's AI Life app running on them. And the LED light ring also serves another purpose as it doubles up as a volume level indicator and will also flash when in pairing mode as well. And here's something else that's similar to Sony speakers. It does have an NFC One Touch pairing point, which is an underrated but important usability feature to have on a portable speaker in my opinion. Allow me to explain. So from my personal experience, I know how much of a headache it is to disconnect from a Bluetooth speaker and then allow someone else to search and then connect to that speaker and take over the audio playback. With this pairing point, literally whatever device touches that, as long as it has NFC, will essentially take over the audio playback. It really is a time saver and it eliminates the frustration of having to disconnect and reconnect and all this other kind of nonsense. Also, the Huawei Sound Joy is a Bluetooth 5.2 speaker, which means the range is fantastic. The stability is very good. I did leave this downstairs and was upstairs with my phone, and the signal seemed to travel just fine to the speaker with no disruption at all to the sound quality. And on that topic, the codecs it supports is AAC and SBC. And going back to the design, there are little rubber feet to keep it in place when the speaker is horizontal. And I do like the way they've added this sort of riser on the left side of the Sound Joy, so that when it's in the upright position, the passive woofer at the bottom of the speaker can still breathe, which in turn helps the bass frequencies resonate a little bit further. And when it comes to the styling and feel of the Huawei Sound Joy, it is very similar to the UE Booms and the JBLs, but it does feel a little bit more premium. And it's the little things like the quality of the wrist strap and the little metal buckle around it, and the buttons, whilst being coated in rubber for durability, still look and feel premium, which in my opinion makes it a nice crossover between an indoor and an outdoor portable speaker. And it does have that IP67 rating, which means it can survive underwater at 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. Anyway, now let's run through some of the key specs that you need to know about, and just for comparison, we'll compare it to the UE Boom specs which is one of the most popular portable speakers. So when it comes to height, the Sound Joy is 1.5 centimeters taller. The width is exactly the same, so that it can actually fit in a water bottle holder on a bike or anywhere else where you'd find a water bottle holder. When it comes to weight, it's slightly heavier than the UE Boom. It's 76 grams heavier. It's not really a deal breaker in my opinion, and actually a bit more weight sometimes can give you that perception of more quality. When it comes to driver design, it's actually very different from the UE Boom. So the UE Boom actually has two drivers which are 38 millimeters, whereas the Sound Joy from Huawei actually has a 20-watt racetrack driver and a 10-watt tweeter for the high ends, and then you've got the dual passive radiators as well. And do you know why they call it a racetrack driver? It's because the shape of the driver is like a NASCAR track. Don't tell me you don't know what NASCAR is. Days of Thunder, Cold Treacle, Rowdy Burns. Anyway, it's the shape of a racetrack. And the advantage here is when you have a separate tweeter, is that tweeter can take care of all the high-end frequencies, and the racetrack driver can focus on the mids and the low ends. And on that note, the low ends on the Huawei Sound Joy is actually lower, which means it delivers more bass than the UE Boom, 40 Hertz lower to be precise. And here's the big deal, and this is what really separates this from a lot of the competition, and the thing that Huawei have done differently from the others is the battery. So we've got a massive 8,800 milliamp hour battery, which can give you 26 hours of playback compared to UE Boom's 15 hours. That's pretty significant. And also it supports fast charging with a 40-watt charger in the box. They call it supercharge. It can get you 1 hour playback in just 10 minutes and take you from 0 to 100 in 3 hours. And something else that Huawei have done a bit different is they've added a G sensor. I am assuming the G stands for gravity. So it basically knows in which orientation it is in, and it uses this information to better optimize the microphones. And these days, with so many more people working from home, having good mics in a speaker can be very useful for online meetings and stuff like that. And there is a little microphone button on the side of the Huawei Sound Joy, and you might think this would be for a virtual assistant, and it is, but the virtual assistant is on your phone, not on the actual speaker itself. I know some speakers can connect to the internet and have Alexa and other virtual assistants connected 24/7 whenever they're on Wi-Fi. This one doesn't do that. This one piggybacks on your phone. But something I really like about the design of this that Devialet brought to the table is their speaker active matching technology. It's really quite a technical thing that they do, and it's really hard to explain. Essentially, it's a synchronization of how the drivers move in time with the music. And they've also got this push-push technology. So by having the two passive radiators at either side, which deliver equal and opposite force, allows them to travel a bit further. So with more movement of the drivers, the more air can be moved around, and therefore the deeper the sound can be. I know that was a terrible explanation, but I tried my best. So do you like good music? Maybe that's sweet soul music or any other kind of genre. Well, I think you're gonna like this speaker. Let's do a little side-by-side test with the Sonos Roam. Just recorded on my Shure microphone here. Throw on some headphones if you want to get a better feel for it. Then I'll give you my sort of overall summary of what I think of the sound quality. So when it comes to the sound quality on the Sound Joy, there's a few things that really shine through as real strengths on this speaker. For example, The high ends are so crispy and clean, and that really helps when it comes to the vocal frequencies. The low ends are very impressive, especially when you go into the AI Life app and turn up the bass output. It really is impressive. And then you've got that speaker active matching technology, which means the bass is not just coming from the top of the speaker, it's also coming from the bottom, and that clearance that they've allowed for helps that bass really resonate off of the surface it's on. I know other speakers claim to have 360 reality audio support, but the reality is when the driver is facing forward like it is in most of these speakers, it does come from the front. And that's the same here. Don't be tricked by these marketing techniques that some of these other companies use. You can't make the sound come around the back of the device if the driver's on the front. It just doesn't work like that. However, the bass can travel around because it's coming out the top and bottom of the speakers, and that helps create that room filling sound. When I tested the audio on this, I do feel like the sound quality is better when it's in the horizontal setup. It just feels like there's a slightly wider sound stage, even though it is only a mono speaker. And that brings me on to something really important about this speaker, which I haven't spoke about yet. It's the ability to pair it to another speaker and have a stereo setup. And you can do that just by shaking the speaker like this, and it will automatically connect to the other one. Some other Bluetooth speakers have the ability to daisy chain. I think the UEs can do up to 150 speakers daisy chain. Also the JBLs can do that as well. But I imagine there's only a small amount of people that will ever use that feature. So I don't think you're missing out on much if you go for the Huawei over those speakers. What you are getting here from the Huawei is a premium looking speaker, but a durable speaker with great sound quality. It's easy to use. There is a Devialet sound profile. There's also a hi-fi sound profile, which is the one that I like. And then you've also got a profile for voice. So if you are going to use this for meetings and stuff like that, or you listen to loads of podcasts, you can put it into the voice sound effect profile. So I've been reviewing tech for quite a while. One thing's really clear to me: it never stops, it always improves. And the UE Boom has actually been out for 3 years, and this is brand new. So you got to expect this to be better, and I think it is, particularly when it comes to sound quality, and definitely when it comes to battery life. And if you don't care about linking 150 speakers together, this actually might be the better option. And if you shop around, I'm confident you're going to find a really good deal on this speaker. And that Devialet Phantom speaker that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, trust me, it's something special. There's a thumbnail on screen right now if you want to check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would make my day. Subscribe would make my month. And I will see you guys in the next one.